Yo, 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 good morning, everyone. So excited to be doing our third live stream of this week. I'm just sending the link somewhere, some places so that people can join me. We're gonna get started in 1 second. I'm really excited for today's episode. What we're gonna be doing is we're going to be um, we're going to be using RNG to create some best ball teams, very similar to what I did yesterday on yesterday's stream. But today I'll be doing it on DraftKings rather than Underdog, so that's the difference. Yeah, I'm just giving everyone a second to get here, or if anyone will get here, we'll see. But no worries if not. And good morning to everyone. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so there we go. We're just posting. I'm so excited to be doing this. Good mornings, y'all. So let me fix one thing. All right. Whoops, not what I meant to show. All right, we have comments active. Good. So, but yeah, so basically today we're going to use algorithms to kind of to get us started. I'm really excited. Basically, the premise behind us is that we will, for our first 5 picks, we're going to use RNG to decide what order in the queue to do. The reason I'm doing this is so that we have an opportunity to try to draft different teams, mostly because we tend to draft the same teams because we're one person. We have our own takes. So this is what our game plan is for today. So really excited. Hopefully y'all enjoy this. I'm gonna be streaming, probably try to do every weekday the next few weeks. We'll see how optimistic that is. I'm a teacher on break, and officially on break. I was directing summer school for a bit, so I couldn't. I wasn't on summer break like all the other teachers. So while everyone else was frolicking in the meadows, I was looking out at the window forlorn, going, "When will my summer come?" Well, my summer has officially come. So thank you to everyone who is here, and we're just gonna start. We're gonna get started. So just give me 1 second. Let's get into a lobby here. So excited. I posted in the description of this video for anyone who's interested. I posted a link to the last article I wrote. And then I also posted, you have to enter the draft. So this is the last article I wrote, which was pretty well received, honestly, which was really nice. It was nice to see. So link to article here, posting that for all of you. And then anyone who is interested, I have a couple of tools that I like to use during these drafts. Let's see how our entries are doing. Five of 12. This is another tool I like to use. This is the correlation tool. So basically, it allows you to put in teams, and it will update their correlation as it's going. This is the master. You can create your own copy so that you can use it in your own drafts. It's been nice seeing. It's the first time I've had any like spreadsheet that I've created, and then there'll be like randoms on it. I'm like, oh, I feel so cool. It feels so cool that you're looking at something I made. Thank you. Such an honor. And this is the last tool that I use just so that you all have it. And it's free. These tools are free. You don't have to spend any money. I think a lot of the paid tools, I think they're fine. I have no strong negativity towards them. This feels like it isn't loading. Okay, cool. 2 more. So if you want to join this draft, we're on DK. Yesterday we did Underdog. The day before we we tried to just do Underdog, but I entered both at the same time, and both filled right at the same time. So I was just trying to do one. Oh God, we're starting with the pick 101. Okay, this is where we put our money where our mouth is. In no universe would I not take Jamar Chase. But this is RNG. What I decided to do yesterday is the first 5 picks on underdog. I was going to do the first 3, but it actually got me. It was pretty generous, so I felt like I wasn't building anything that unique. We're gonna try this. Basically, premise is 1 through 12. So it could be 1 through 12, and it'll be whatever that number is on the queue. Thankfully for DraftKings, we get to start. We get 2 minutes. So we're going to start with the second in the queue. Okay, not too bad. So we're going to start with Saquon. Thank you, RNG gods. Thank you. For those who are unfamiliar with what the concept of RNG is, basically the idea is this: it comes from building video games, but it works in a lot of different contexts where essentially you're trying to create randomness, and that's how it's decided. Those are the algorithms that I'm talking about in the description or in the video title, but they're not. It's not the most fancy algorithms. It's just literally I'm just using Google. But the idea behind this is like you're creating pure randomness, and that allows for different outcomes. So most video games that have like randomness built into them, which most do, whether it's spawn locations, whether it's what spawns, item drops, things like that, that's all decided by RNG. And as a teacher, I use it a lot for deciding order for my students, because if we just pick, you'd be surprised if you think you are random that you're not. So I use that to make sure that I am random in my order generation, because I am weird about fairness. Fairness matters a lot to me. The draft started because I'm paying close attention. And like I said, we're going to start with, oh no, it did not start. It starts in 10 seconds. I just assumed. I saw the color and I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. The red. All right, we're going to start with Saquon. Don't love it, but what's what the RNG gods decided. All right, since we have back-to-back picks for 2 and 3, we're going to also funny that this happened yesterday at the first spot in underdog. And no, that was 2. Was it last time? I forget. The world blurs together. So, okay, so we're going to go 10 spots down for our second pick and 12 spots down for our third pick. Okay, cool. So I'm going to, what's nice, what I learned yesterday about this, as long as you are hovering over the spot, you will get, you don't have to keep counting. So I also apologize. My cat wants to destroy my live stream. She, of course, has been sleeping all day, but the second I start live streaming, she's like, what if I destroy your desk? Mashi, you're not always the star of these streams. I think she likes that I live stream because she gets to hop in. She's secretly she loves her attention, but I don't blame you, Mushy. You're very cute. All right, so like I said, we're going to do 12. So let's count that now, so we're not rushing. So it's going to go 10 and then 12. So I'm going to go boop, and then keep in mind it's 12 from where that spot was. So I'll be 10 and 13 technically once I do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh God, I did again. I hate when it moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So whoever's in this slot will be what we are drafting. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna see. Okay, we don't need that. So it'll be the bottom, whatever the bottom is here. I've set it up as such. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna double check. I know how to count, I swear it, but when you're live, you're like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, cool. So Jonathan Taylor is where the Bucky Irving slot is right now. Unfortunately, with this view, we can't really see the draft that's going on right now. So anything interesting? I'll start counting as we get closer. Maybe I always forget with DraftKings, you got these 30-second timers, and it just like feels so slow compared to the 20-second timers, which is like good. Yeah, I don't feel as much in a rush when I'm drafting this. But it is also interesting. I realized last year, because I was doing so much underdog drafts, when I got to my redraft, I have a league where we take 2.5 minutes per draft pick. It's a keeper league, so I get it, but it's only 3 keepers. But that draft killed me. I wanted to die. It took forever. And like after doing like a couple hundred drafts last year at 30-second clocks, having to do a 2.5 minute with a bunch of people who are like in their 50s or 60s. Oh God. And I even said, like, can we speed up? And they're like, no, we need time. And I'm like, how? How is this? Like, I understand needing a little bit of time, but why do you need 2.5 minutes per pick for everyone? You know? And we know our draft slots beforehand, and we know our keepers beforehand. So you're allowed to keep 3. So you already have 3 slots picked. Why do we need? Okay. And let me get off this soapbox. We're going to start our counting. Okay. So, like I said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, where Marvin Harrison is, I'm just going to do that when it's our turn. You might go, how will I know it's my turn? The draft thing will highlight itself. God, this feels so gross. But we're doing it to build something unique and something different, right? We're essentially drafting people who would be on the right side of the board, but we're on the left side of the board. And when I say right side, I mean like 9 through 12 pick locations. All right. I wouldn't be opposed to Adams, but we're not going to get him. All right. Right now we're getting Kyren. We're going to probably get the person after Kyren. Man, you could get Saquon Bucky. Oh, okay. So we're going to have Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's our 10. And then we're going, this is 10, 11, and 12. Oh, God. Okay. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. All right. So let's look at this draft board that I have completely annihilated. RNG was so kind the first pick. It said, sure, take Saquon. That's fine and not unreasonable. You want at the 101, you get to take who was the 101 or like the number 1 pick last year. But then RNG said, no, you need to go back. But if Jackson Smith and Jigba and Terry McLaurin are the guys you need, they're the guys you need. Anything weird here? Ooh, on the turn here, we got a cool Achane Bowers. I kind of low-key love that. The turn especially, I literally feel like this group of players, maybe take Bowers out, and you can put Genty there. I feel like I have them in all of the combinations, and it never feels like I get any value. Like sometimes I'm like Brian Thomas fell, but like I have teams with Brian Thomas and Puka like in the 10th spot or the 11th spot. So it just is. It's like feels really weird this part of the draft. So that's why I think J.K. Miller just doing something different. You know, born 1978, just living their best life, and I support you, J.K. Miller. I support you. Got our first quarterback off the board, and Josh Allen. And then, like I said, we've been using RNG. So we got the first pick, only 2 slots of ADP, and then the next 2, 10 and 12. But now I think it's time to see what RNG wants. And after the first 5 picks, I'm going to try to land the ship. Land the ship. You should not land a ship. That is bad. That is how you get fired. You should land a plane. And what do you say to a ship to finish it? Disembark? No, that's leaving. Oh no, I'm having an existential crisis at 11:13 a.m. All right, so we got 3, thank you, and 4. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go 3 picks down on ADP for what's left here. On DraftKings, I don't have my own rankings like I do in Underdog, so we don't have to worry about maybe accidentally forgetting that Zach Ertz exists. I think I also forgot to rank Rashad Bateman, and the funniest one I forgot to rank was Joe Burrow. It was not intentional. I just was like doing the old school, let me click in order that I think they should be, and that's what happened. So we still got Marvin Harrison. Wow, we got Marvin Harrison falling to the 4th. That's interesting. You got Joe Burrow in the 3rd, unstacked. Well, that's what RNG was telling me. Thank you, RNG. RNG is like, you can't take Jamar Chase with the first pick because some guy, Milo 420, hey, Milo, I get it. Best way to draft, am I right? But Milo 420 here is like, I don't care. I'm going to take Joe Burrow. I don't care that I don't have T. Higgins. I don't care that I don't have Chase Brown. I don't care that I don't have Jamar Chase. We're going to take him to maybe I've seen him fall as far as the 6-7 turn. We're gonna take him potentially 4 rounds early, so no one else can get him. Love it, Milo. 420. Stochastic, get your mans out of this draft. That's okay. I have no issue with like people doing things differently. And we're also on DraftKings. Whoa. We got Capitalist here. believing in the free market of Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. All right. Adam Smith somewhere is like, yes, what a good commodity. What if you had two of a rare commodity? I wonder. I wonder if the capitalist is trying to create a monopoly on quarterbacks. That would be interesting. Some big brain game theory. Like we're going economic game theory in this best ball draft. So it's a good time. All right. So if we got the capitalist, who's the communist? Who's the communist drafter from this? Sorry, my cat's attacking my favorite poster that my friend got me on vacation. Mushroom, mush, stop. Just gonna destroy it. Mush, I've had that for years. Why are you like this? All right, I'm next. I had to put my stern dad voice on, and that worked. She's now like, what did I do? All being all cute. So we're going 3, Tet, and then 4, which would be Chuba. Okay, cool. So this is we got T McLaurin, T McMillan. Oh, we need to get Jalen too. We need them. Is this the McDonald's team? All right. Who are all the players that have NC? Okay, McCarthy, we are definitely taking. All right. We're putting these in. I'm mostly kidding. If we can somehow get Addison to fall, maybe. But I'm sure he's been drafted already, right? No, he hasn't. What am I saying? All right, let's look at some of the drops, the players that have been dropping. So we got Rice, 44. Feels like this is kind of where he's going to end up until I think we get actual news on. Until we get actual news on how many games he's going to be suspended. I think that makes sense. But overall, nothing too crazy. Minus, we got some capitalism going pretty hard here. We got some 420 going hard here. Both those things, I think, are a little unique. But besides that, pretty standard draft. Nothing crazy to me. That meets my eye. Unless someone sees differently. And if so, please let me know. Realize it's probably not the best time to live stream, as like everyone who does this content is currently live streaming, but it's the only time I have to live stream. So we're gonna live in that world. Y'all can watch your other folks first, watch them live, then come listen to me while you're sleeping at night. That sounded weird, but you know what I meant. Let my soothing and suave, charismatic tone just lull you to sleep. My scorching hot fantasy takes. Don't really have any scorching hot fantasy takes. I'll be super honest with you. Other than so in the news today about Garrett Wilson, I have actually a lot of Justin Fields applies to Garrett Wilson. I have a lot of Justin Fields because I had drafted a lot of Garrett Wilson early on. I haven't been doing it as much recently, but now I'm annoyed because so I get the notification he's carted off, and I'm like, no, all my 10 to 15% Justin Fields gone, right? And good thing is I feel like most teams have Justin Fields. I made a 3 quarterback build just because of, even if I went a quarterback above, just because I don't trust it. And then it's like, oh, he has a toe injury, which again, not ideal, but like the way they were acting when I first read it was like, oh no, his season's over. Garrett Wilson on my Garrett Wilson bags, who's like my most drafted wide receiver on Underdog. All of that is gone. But there's still hope. So there might be a falling Garrett Wilson in this draft, which we may take just for funsies. Okay, I've not even thought about correlation yet, so let's kind of think about this. So we got 2 Carolina players. That's what the RNG gods decided with Jackson Smith-Njigba. So RNG forced a week 17 correlation here. That is beautiful. Thank you. And one I don't think I've ever taken these 2 back to back before. So I like, this is one of those things in the moment I hate it, but I'll probably like this team at the end because I will be like, oh, that's interesting. My worry with always these RNG drafts is like, thankfully the first round, if your first pick, you can't end up with any of the 1C or not, or like quarterback position or tight end because no one's too low. But like my worry is doing this at the end, and then like the first 5 picks are all like onesie positions, and you're just like, all right, what do we do? How do we fix this? All right, speaking of fixing this, what do we want next? We're pretty good at running back for a bit, I feel like. Godwin's probably going to fall. So I don't want to touch that. Jennings is interesting. Problem is, a few of the players I want to take here, I feel like would fall. So I kind of wish I was not this pick, but we're gonna persevere. Let's see. If we had any Washington players, that could be interesting. Maybe. Okay, we already have a Washington player. What am I saying? I meant Dallas. Let's see. Who do I want here? Okay, let's need to actually pick so I don't accidentally draft JJ McCarthy. Okay, I'm gonna go Jennings here. Like I said, he would probably fall, and I love to hold on to that fall. And we will go Addison. Mostly talking myself into that so I can get this McCarthy stack, just so we can have the McDonald's team fully rolling. And maybe I should preemptively get Baker for that McMillan, at this turn, normally, if I had a normal team going on, wasn't doing random stuff the first 5 picks, probably take Diggs there, and probably Jennings. I probably don't touch Addison, especially I expect Addison to fall soon, which is why I don't like kind of going up on a player like that. But Addison's the guy. He's the guy. And last year we were worried about this exact thing. Didn't come to fruition, but he was productive last year. I think if you drafted Addison last year, you've been very happy for his value. Wonder if we go tight end. Let's look at this draft board. Okay, Mahomes going to the Rashee Rice drafter. Makes sense. We got here game stack stuff. Ooh, this drafter minus maybe Marv and actually Kamara. I feel like I draft a lot of these players. I don't Christian McCaffrey sometimes, but I draft a lot, especially on DraftKings. I think he's gonna feel like he has a Keenan Allen top 6 PPR kind of season in him. Don't know if it's this year, but it could be. Then we got Garrett Wilson, Harrison. Yeah, like I said, I love Wilson, but he doesn't really fall too much here, even with the news about his quarterback. I also feel like DraftKings players are a bit slower when it comes to information. And I'm talking about information that came out 3 hours ago. So, if you are somewhere else in the world or you're on your lunch break, you may have not heard that news and you just took those players, which I've done. I've also had the flip side when I'm in a draft and a player falls a lot that I'm not expecting. I look online, did I miss something? Let's start using this tool. So we had Saquon. We had. Oh no, I accidentally deleted that. Okay, we have. Who did we have? We had Jackson. What's up, Jackson? And then who was our next? Okay, McLaurin. So you have a lot of McLaurin, so I wouldn't want to take him, especially 12 picks early when there's worries about him sitting out. And then we got our Carolina stack. So this feels like it might want to be a Bryce team. Also a big fan of Rico Dowdle as a pick. I'm not going to probably add him to this team. But I recently, and I do this more on DraftKings, I've done a couple accidental where you take 2 from the same backfield. And I kind of don't hate it just because, especially with Saquon, let's just say I have Saquon, Chuba Hubbard, and Rico Dowdle. Assuming Saquon is on my team every week scoring, as he should be, right? In this draft, I draft him 101. So I'm saying he's going to be the best, right? And then you have Chuba and Rico for sure filling out that second slot, whoever it is for that particular week. So I actually think it works in best ball when it's that kind of situation. Maybe Chuba's a little too high of a draft pick to justify that, right? But, I think of the year Cam Akers and Kyron's first big year. Like Cam Akers was productive, and then he was traded. And if you're paying attention to the tea leaves, that probably wasn't super unsurprising. So if you had both, it actually did not really hurt you too much. All right, so let's see. Not going to take Fields. Fields is someone who, if he fell to the next turn, I would definitely take even unstack. Because I'm going to, generally with injury news, that I will probably not be too scared of it unless it's like injury news like we've seen with Najee, just because it feels a little weird. All right, so we are up. We have anything interesting here? Not really. We don't even have cool stacking options. Kind of feeling a little lost, but that's okay. How much time we got? We got 15 seconds. We got Mooney. We have 5. We'll take Mooney here. We won't take Fields. And then I wonder if this is okay, I'm gonna take Higgins. So we got 7. That's probably a little more aggressive at wide receiver than I tend to do on DraftKings this early. But we're gonna try not to touch wide receiver again. So I'm sorry, y'all. The McDonald's squad may not be happening. Oh, and I should only draft players for Miami for McDaniel, and then Josh McDaniels Patriots players. Oh man, there was so much opportunity that I didn't see that the RNG gods were trying to give us. I'm gonna start this RNG religion for best ball because it just knows. It just knows, man. The board giveth. That's what we say. Okay, Mooney. Let's. Okay, I'm always slow with this. Like I said, if you've heard me talk about this before, I really like this tool. It's a bit better. Well, when I'm not also streaming, that would help. And then the order of it doesn't really matter, but I want to be accurate. And I click too fast to read because I do that thing. I treat my tabs like an empty fridge at midnight. I click into it, I look around, and I completely black out. And then Mooney and Higgins. All right. So the reason I did this is I've been seeing reports, maybe. So I hadn't been on Twitter for like basically a year. I had a Twitter last year for my fantasy, for my sports stuff. I've done this on a separate account just because I think general sports is different than like DraftKings and sports betting and fantasy. And so where was I going with this? Anyway, so I was off of Twitter around election time, even though I'm only there for sports. Like you could not get politics content, even if I was like not interested in it. It was forced down, and I don't love that when you join, it's like here are the people you should follow. It's like, oh, all people of particular, like, sure, you're free speech. Yeah, that's why you're suggesting only one party. So I was off of Twitter for a bit. It was really toxic, and like the kind of the point for me where I really got off was around the fires in LA. So I'm from Los Angeles, and there was just all this disinformation on Twitter when I'm trying to find out if my friends' houses are burning alive. You know what I mean? Like not like, I had students lose their houses. I had friends, like it was honestly like one of the scariest weeks of my life. And I'm on Twitter trying to find current event information, and all of it is conspiracy bullshit. And I'm like, I want to know if I'm safe. I want it, like, this app used to be so good for current event information, and so just kind of I deleted it, everything. And then I realized, unfortunately, Twitter is really good for breaking sports news and training camp stuff. And so all of this is to say, I got on Twitter yesterday. Please follow me. It's gross, but I did it. I'm going to call it Twitter because it is Twitter. We know it is Twitter. Whatever. And I was seeing these practice reports. The shout out to the Chargers, like beat writers. They're so on top of it. I feel like I've gotten so much information for them than like other teams. And they have a player that I want to think about getting at the end. I forget his name, we're gonna search. We're gonna add them in the queue so I don't forget. Los Angeles. I can do this. So I want this. I want him. He was making some freaking plays, Keandre Lambert Smith. He was doing some plays where I was like, that's a dog. That's just a dog. That's all that is. I didn't realize I should do that with the teams that correlate. I'll do that in a future draft. This draft isn't so much worried about correlation. Of course, I'm always going to try to do that. But so the reason I took Higgins was so I'd have the stack for this. Hopefully that makes sense. There is the logic behind it. Okay, so I may take McCarthy if he gets to me. A, he's falling. B, I watched the video yesterday where they're talking about who was it? So it was I think Establish the Run. They were doing it was offensive line rankings, and they had Minnesota pretty high. That's why you don't say it. You ruined everything. All right. So we might take at this turn. We don't have a tight end yet. And I always feel good about Tucker Kraft being like my first tight end. I have a lot of spears. Part of me does want to take Javonte because people have like been kind of more positive about him the last like day or two. Okay, I can take Charbonnet. What's this? Blurb. Anything interesting? Nope, we're just not going to show it. Okay. Okay, it's gonna take one of these two and then Kraft. So let's just start with Kraft since we know we're gonna do that. And then we could take Love here. Yeah, let's just do that. We have Saquon, we have Chuba. One nice thing about the turn is you can just like it's like I'm such a slut for this move. like if I on any turn I see I can correlate a pick and like and their quarterback at the same time, I'm always like, ooh, like it's an issue like with Jaden McDaniels and Terry McLaurin, like Devonta Smith, Saquon, obviously. You sometimes get it with like Mbuka and Baker. Here, as you saw, Love and Kraft. And then the other one that I'm very embarrassed to admit is Pitts and Penix. But Penix was getting some positive spins and some positive clout in training camp, which is always scary. Okay, the capitalist who has left, he monopolized the position and decided to leave it for ruin, like a true capitalist. Thank you. I mean, he's just getting value. See, the capitalist is all about value. That makes sense to auto draft. Get your Ayuks, get your Judkins, get those at a lower value than everyone else, right? Get your Najee Harris. Oh, this is such an interesting. All right, so everyone's got a quarterback. Everyone's got a tight end, so we're all kind of in agreement there. It's just important to note, so like no one's gonna be like triple tapping, which I saw yesterday, like triple tapping like a position. I saw one drafter, he did 2 QBs back to back. He was on the 1 slot, and then he did 3 tight ends in a row. And so I just thought it was cool that he did basically double tap the same position twice in a row. And you don't see that a lot, especially with the onesie positions. So I thought it was unique. Okay, so my guess is this will be like a 3-6-8-3. It's kind of where I'm going. Like I mentioned before, I generally prefer the experience of drafting on Underdog a little bit more. I like the applet, at least on computer. I'm about 50-50 when it comes to the phone. I feel like Underdog's smoother, but like it's also more janky at the same time. Like I can leave that screen and come back, and sometimes it won't be on the right pick. Whereas DraftKings is usually pretty good about that. Underdog, the big issue I have with them on their app is you can't move people in the queue like easily, at least on Android, like at all. And so I find that particularly frustrating. So if he falls to us, Penix could be an option because I'm just starting to worry about. Actually, we probably want. Okay, well, we'll start you. We want Darnold. Let's organize these so we don't auto the wrong person. Ooh, that was a good sneeze. Whoa. That sneeze that got all the demons out. All the demons are gone. Part of me is also, I just mentioned a double. Do I want to double tap? No, let's look at all before we get crazy. Okay, I feel like we want a onesie position and a running back here. Ferguson's taken. Let's look at the beautiful draft board. Yes. Yeah, nothing too weird, at least via my eye. Wow, this drafter White and 8 has more QBs than running backs after 12 picks. So that's certainly a choice. Okay, let's go likely for that correlation. And we'll just get Bryce Young. We had 2 pieces of that offense. That feels good to me. So far, we got Jordan Love paired with Tucker Kraft. We have Saquon correlating. We don't have any Buffalo players. That would be a situation where sometimes I would maybe take Ray Davis. But since we have these 2 stud running backs, I'm kind of like more chill with it. We're definitely going to get some running backs next set of picks. I think maybe we want Darnold and a running back. And then we'll probably go running back heavy until we have like a dart throw tight end towards the end. With Kraft, I'm likely that is probably a strong enough tight end room you could just go to, but I just feel like with tight ends, I don't kind of like the inverse. It's almost like the running backs, like part of the theory behind like no running back build, right? Is that our low running back build is like 0 RB is that there's gonna be injuries and you're gonna get players later who are backups that are good. I kind of feel that way about like tight ends this year. I feel like there's a lot of backup tight ends who like have the potential to be like productive. I know Knox was placed on like the injury, but it's like Dawson Knox is like the 3rd highest paid player on that team, you know. So I was drafting a bit of him. You know, like the Terrence Fergusons of the world, Fannin. I was drafting Arroyo. Arroyo's who we're gonna draft here if we can get Darnold. Might just pick Arroyo anyway. We probably won't get Sam Darnold. It's nice to dream. My dream would be somehow Ray Davis falls in Darnold in 14 picks. No, they took my boy Tank Bigsby. No. Took McLeod. Isn't that early to take McLeod? Am I wrong on that? That feels early. Okay, you were 154 and your ADP. That's not Ray McLeod. Okay. DraftKings, what is you doing? Yeah, why would you take Ray that early? Man, Milo really hitting the 420. Pass it over, brother. He took Zay Flowers too. Oh man. Zay Flowers 420. Oh man. This is heavily coded. This is super coded. So if you're just joining us, we did the first 5 picks. We use a random number generator to decide who we would pick. Started with Saquon, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Saquon had it at 2, so not too bad, but Jackson Smith had to reach 10, McLaurin had to reach 12, McMillan had to reach 3, and Chuba had to reach 4. So that's the way we did that. And then we're just trying to construct the rest of this team right now. We have 7 wide receivers, probably a little bit heavier at wide receiver than I'd want to be. So we're holding off. But some good quarterback values here. We got Jordan Love, Tucker Kraft together. We got Bryce Young to match with Tet and Chuba. Also correlating with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and we got likely to correlate with our craft and love. So um, let's see. Is there anything else interesting? Not really. But thank you all for being here. It's really exciting to have some folks join us. But yeah, I put in the back there. If you can see, it might be blocking a little bit. What's your favorite stack this year? Do you have a favorite stack you're seeking or a favorite team you're seeking? I don't know if I have a favorite. I'm always stacking. Recently, I've really been the last day or two. I'm like kind of like, what if Sam Darnold is like good and Jackson Smith and Jigba is like also like just as good? Like that's kind of where I'm at. Their offensive line is bad, where I'm like, they'll just do a bunch of quick passes, potentially a bunch of to Jackson Smith and Jigba. We'll see. I watched a video yesterday on ranking the offensive and defensive offensive lines, and that kind of like changed the way I thought about some picks. See if we can get Darnold here, and then I will take Ford if it gets to us. Do I want to take Atlanta? Atlanta, what am I saying? Or Algier? And we're gonna queue some people up. Nick Chubb is maybe a little more interesting with the Mixon news. I got the Mixon news yesterday right after I drafted like my first share of Mixon, which was kind of painful, but it's okay. Please let Darnold fall to me. Yes. Okay, we're gonna take Darnold. And so the reason I'm gonna take Ford here over, I know I already have a little bit of Atlanta, but I don't have Penix, so I don't want to get too crazy with that. And honestly, I'm gonna say here, I'm a Jerome Ford fan. A lot of people think he's not that good. I know he didn't sign for a lot last year or for this year, but like the dude had a couple of big runs last year, and he on the team that I had that made finals, he was a big reason for it because he popped off in week 16. He had like a 25-point game or something. Him and Achane carried me that week. They did nothing week 17. But in a world where like I'm not touching Judkins because he is not signed, I think there's a world he doesn't play at all this year. And maybe he does. And when we find that out, then I'll start drafting him. But again, I don't mind when I'm doing a big volume of drafts. I don't mind when someone's falling, just being like, that's not my dude right now, until training camp comes. So I view him very much as like an August kind of draft, a person you draft in August, which is fine. If you're a person who's doing one draft the whole year, maybe, like if you're doing only one draft, I would definitely not take him, right? Because you could have a dead roster slot. Like this pick that I'm hoping to do in round 20 is purely off of vibes, Twitter camp feedback. Probably going to still be a 0 this year, but I don't mind that with my 20th pick, right? But I do mind that when Judkins is going as like what? And this is him falling, right? This is him being auto drafted, in the 10th. I don't like there's a world this team is dead. Mr. Capitalist. He capitalized too hard. Because he started autoing, I think around here, right? And so you got Ayuk, who might not start the year, Judkins, who may not play the year, Harris, who may not play the year, right? This team became kind of ugly, kind of quick. Jaden Blue, it makes sense when you auto draft, you're just getting all the values, and I think that's an issue, especially on DraftKings. Underdog's a bit faster to update their ADPs, so when you auto draft on that, it still hurts when players are falling, but it's not as bad. Whereas like DraftKings, it takes forever for something to fall to really slow down. So we're good at quarterback. Like I said, we will try to throw a dart throw to Royo towards the end. Where is he? I like that Barner's being. There's no way he. Yeah, he's been screaming up boards. But I feel really good about this wide receiver room. I honestly feel good about this running back room. I know it's just 3, but I think you have, 3 starters. You have Saquon, who, again, 101 potential. Chuba, who last year totally kicked ass. And Jerome Ford, who I think can be the number 1 for at least the beginning part of the season. Right. And so I think for my other running backs, because of certain profiles we already have, I'm definitely gonna want to go for high upside dart throw kind of players. You know, like AJ Dillon. That's a joke. Definitely not AJ Dillon. All right, let's look at this draft board. And thank you again for everyone who's joining, who's vibing. This third day in a row I've been doing this, trying to make it a habit. I really didn't want to stream today. I was like, I'm not feeling it. I went Bobby Overcat, because that's how I refer to myself. That's not how I refer to myself. You got to do it. You just gotta bite the bullet. Who cares that all these other streamers who also stream best ball are doing it at the same time? Who cares? You got to make content first before people know, right? As I said in Field of Dreams, build it, then they will come. And we are building, and soon they will all be coming. Phrasing, not the best there, but that's okay. We live, we persevere, we do the best we can on these streets, on these best ball streets. All right. Honestly, I'm really liking this team. You know, like I said in the moment, I hated having to take Terry McLaurin like basically around early, and same with Jackson Smith. But this is a unique team. I wouldn't have built otherwise, and it has allowed me to fill it out differently. Okay, so I'm gonna be definitely annoying and take Arroyo here. It's not annoying. I just feel bad when I'm joining the hype train. And I'm a debate teacher. I teach about the bandwagon theory, and I'm always like, don't do it just because everyone else is. And then this motherfucker right here is about to do it because everyone else is. It's a cruel sport we play. Okay, so looking at players, I'm not going to take Shipley. He's someone I would maybe normally consider. Ooh, we do have Sanders as an option and Lloyd. Lloyd's been getting some good buzz. I feel like I have a lot of Sanders. Okay, I think. Okay, I said I want high upside, right? And that's Lloyd. We're for sure taking Arroyo. Get that third tight end. You know, I think it feels nice to feel comfy at the position. Last year, the team that I had that made finals had Brock Bowers on it, and like Will Dissly, who was a nothing, and forget who John Tavian Sanders, who like got a catch or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna take Sanders, and the reason being, I don't think Lloyd will fall to me, but I have seen him fall more in drafts than Sanders recently, and already have the Green Bay picks, but I did want to stack up the Dallas pick with my Washington pick. You know me, I'm very clear. I'm a slut for correlation week 17, any week, honestly. So let's see, correlation-wise, how are we doing? Let's look at the pretty draft board version. So we got Barkley. We don't have any Buffalo players, but maybe this is a Ty Johnson team. I actually think Ty Johnson is going to be more valuable than people realize, because he's their passing down guy. And last year they were just like winning so much. If games are just a little bit closer, if they're running, you know, James Cook ran so pure last year where he got like 15 touchdowns. If that doesn't happen again, which it probably won't, right? Then you have more passing volume. You have all that good stuff. All right. So we got Hill. Wicks was taken. So that feels early. Yeah, there's I feel like on DraftKings, you will get a lot more in this area. People just picking players from the 200 plus. I think that's totally fine. In fact, I think that should be happening probably more on Underdog than it is. Just because like there's a lot of variance, and I think like pretty much like round 16 on, everyone's not the same tier, but a lot of them like you're gonna tell me the 60th wide receiver is that different than the 75th or the 80th? Like at least drafting ADP right now, like no, like that's probably not the case. Okay, what do we want to do here? What is uncorrelated? That's something I like to think about. Like I said, I like correlation a little bit everywhere. So here's the thing: I do have Ford, I don't want. I probably don't want a Pittsburgh. I probably don't want like Calvin Austin. I don't. I probably don't want any of that. I can also see Hunter being taken here. Too much Hunter. That's as you can see. Like we get to the point in the draft, I kind of stop paying attention. I will fill this out after, but it gives you the correlation and stuff, which is nice. And then also a feature I forgot to show last time is it shows you team breakdown, which is always good. Oops, article, wrong thing. But where was I going? This is what I was trying to look for. Oh, thank you. There's someone on this. The anonymous Aurochs. Not familiar with that animal. I'm learning stuff today. Feels. I know I'm a nerd because it feels good when I go on a spreadsheet I created and shared, and I see people on it. I'm like, yes. And this spreadsheet I've actually seen a lot of people. So this is the one I organized by teams and what I think is good. So I mentioned Cleveland. Where are the Browns? They're low. So they also have the Bills, right? And so this is where I think rather than taking like a dart throw in Pittsburgh, right? I take a Bills player, and all of a sudden I have, um, I have the Bill. All of a sudden with the Bills, I then have correlation with two teams, right? Also, I feel the same way about the Bears, right? If I take the Bears, I have correlation with the Browns, and then I also have correlation with my Juwan Jennings pick, and so that's a lot of the ways I like to think. Okay. Lambert Smith's our last pick for sure. It's been decided. Okay, so we're gonna go Hunter. Okay, we're gonna go Hunter, and then do we want to do Ty Johnson, or do we want to do Kyle Monangai? Okay, we're gonna take Hunter. Okay, I'll let cooler heads prevail. Take cooler heads being just. I'll let ADP speak for itself. Okay, so then we'll leave this as is. And then what I like about this is now we have two options, two dart throws for round 20. Yesterday I had like 5 dart throws for round 20, and like almost all of them are taken. And I think it's getting the time of the year where everyone starts having the same dart throws, and then all of a sudden everyone starts having the same and then they don't become dart throws anymore because they start getting drafted every round. So in a world that other people who are on that Chargers beat, and they're like seeing the steam, right? They're seeing Quentin Johnston can't catch a pass, but Condre Lambert Smith caught like some dope passes. And I normally don't get hyped by training camp. It's just boring. Isn't it interesting that the two teams I was making fun of are now auto drafting? It's like they knew they couldn't handle it. Kind of decide if we should get another draft here. Let me know what you think. If anyone says I should get another draft, I will. I'm very easily influenced. See anything? Why are you taking? Whoa, capitalism. Sorry, Tank Dell's out for the year. I don't know why he ever had an ADP. Yeah. Well, it's nice to know I'm facing one team that's dead, right? Because they lost this pick. This one is questionable. These two, who know? Like these three, who knows? Up until then, it's got double elite quarterback with a third. Very questionable running back room. Like Corton here. In a world, he actually would have fit our build, and I just forgot about him. I'll be totally honest. But since we already have Arroyo stacked with Darnold, Gatson, taking some of him. Look at all the blue. It's like all of these 6 have taken a tight end. Like if you look back here, every player except for this person and me have taken a tight end. Oh. and not this person, but I guess you count that. That makes sense. Lots of blue. My color coding mind is just like, yes. Ooh, we got so many. Oh, we got so many tight ends in a row, but you said no, which makes sense. You had 3 pretty strong ones to begin with. Odell Beckham Jr. I don't think I've seen him drafted this year. I don't think he's going to end up on a team. I think he's done. But round 20, do what you want. Do what makes you happy. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to make money. And that's the thing. People make fun of and get mad when people draft weird in their things. It's like, wouldn't you want that? Don't you want the weirdness? All right. Both my players still here. We will recap this in a second. Yeah, this pick right now is again falling for training camp hype. Don't recommend it, but you're allowed to do it every once in a while. This is literally my first share of this player. I think an issue people make is they get training camp hype and then they just like they do it across so many drafts. That's what will hurt you when you have high exposure. Like if he doesn't play a snap this year, like this is my first share. Like I'll be fine, right? I'll probably take a couple more shares. Got 3, 6, 8, 3. Love it. I love me some 3 quarterback, 3 tight end. I'm not beholden to it. I'm not a person who's like, yeah, do it. If you don't do it, you're gonna die. Right? There are people who like that. I'm definitely not that way. I just think when you can, you should, and especially when I'm not taking a quarterback or a tight end till 10, 11, kind of have to. So let's look at how we've landed this ship. So as a reminder, recap. First 5 picks, RNG, a random number generator side, who to pick in the queue. And so that gave us Saquon, our very unique turn of Jackson Smith and Jigba and Terry McLaurin. And then our second, not as unique turn, but still kind of a unique-ish turn. We got Tet McMillan and Chuba Hubbard. And then we got Juwan Jennings picking up a little bit of, I don't know if he fell a couple picks, not too much. And then Addison, this one I reached a little, probably didn't feel great about it, but I was just, we started with we had 2 McMillan, and I was like, how do I get McCarthy? Well, I need Addison. So, was that done out of logic or was it done out of vibes? Who knows? But I'm also not super scared of Addison, especially on a 8 wide receiver build when you have a bunch of, other solid, and what I like about this is, and this is something I always think about with building teams, is we have we have a variety of kinds of players, right? We have Mooney and McLaurin as kind of older, steady Eddies, right? We have Addison and Jennings who are younger and did they break out last year? Jackson Smith who also broke out. We got rookies Tet. We got Lambert Smith, real green there, but potential. And then my running back room, we got Saquon Chuba, we got old stud Jerome Ford, Miles Sanders, and then we got some rookies in Hunter and Monungai. And then tight end, I really like this tight end room. We got Kraft, Likely, and Arroyo. I really like it because we got young stud, we got Likely who, in a world, let's just say Andrews is hurt or traded, he could easily, he might be going where Andrews is, right? So you might have, where's Andrews? Basically a couple rounds of value. And then Arroyo, who everyone's been steaming up, especially since the Noah Fant waiving. So I really like this team. I think it has a lot of intrigue. And like I said, the RNG gods knew. They said, you know what you need, Bobby? You know what you need? We know. We know that this game, Carolina, Seattle, that's the one that's going to pop off. Let's look at correlation. I'm going to do that here just because it's a little bit easier. We got Jordan Love and stacking with instead of Ford, I almost took Lloyd. We had Jordan Love stacking with Kraft, and opposite side Likely that week. We have Bryce and Darnold against each other. I know in theory you're not supposed to have the 2 quarterbacks from the same game in a 3 quarterback build. I think that's fine. And honestly, it's probably fine no matter what, because you want the best quarterback Anyway, so if that's the best game of the week, why not have both of them? That's just the way I think. Um, and then we got a low price Sam Darnold. I think he's super undervalued. Um, Even if he pumpkins a bit, if he's mid, he's questionable. He's eh. Is that still the 27th pick quarterback? I don't know. I don't know. I think Darnold's better than that. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining. I didn't see anyone else saying we should get into another. So we won't today. But thank you all for participating. I plan on continuing to do these as we venture forward. I might find a different time slot depending on the day of the week that maybe works better for other people to watch. But today we were using RNG to for our first 5 picks. But now we're gonna call it a day. So thank you all. I hope you have a blessed day on the best ball streets, and I hope the RNG gods and the pod gods set you up for success.